Aesop stories.
Number 6. Mr. Green's lesson on unity. In a small town, there was a father named Mr. Green who had 3 sons. These sons always argued with each other. They fought over toys, who would sit where at dinner, and even who got to play outside first. Mr. Green was worried because his sons didn't help each other. He wanted them to learn how to work together. One sunny day, Mr. Green had an idea. He called his sons and said, "Boys, I have a task for you. Please bring me a bundle of sticks from the backyard." The boys didn't know why their father wanted the sticks, but they did as he asked. When they brought the sticks, Mr. Green tied them together into a big bundle. He then said to his oldest son, "Try to break this bundle of sticks." But none of them could break the bundle. Then the middle son tried, and after him the youngest. The oldest son tried with all his might, but he couldn't break the bundle. Next, Mr. Green untied the bundle and gave each son a single stick. He said, "Now try to break these." This time each son could easily break the stick. Mr. Green gathered his sons and said, "Do you see what happens when you are together? Just like the bundle of sticks, you are strong when you work as a team. But if you are alone like a single stick, you are easily broken." The sons looked at the broken sticks and then at each other. They understood their father's lesson. They realized that they were stronger when they worked together and supported each other. From that day on, the sons started to get along better. They helped each other with chores, shared their toys, and played together without fighting. They learned that being united made them happier and stronger. Mr. Green was pleased to see his sons living in harmony. He knew they would grow up to be good people who could face any challenge as long as they stayed united. And the people in the town noticed the change too. They would often see the boys working together, whether in the garden or helping their neighbors. Everyone said, "Look at Mr. Green's sons. They are a great example of how brothers should be." The 3 brothers learned an important lesson about unity and teamwork. They understood that together they could achieve much more than they could alone. And Mr. Green was happy knowing his sons would always be there for each other. Number 7. Tommy and the Scorpion Adventure. Once upon a time, in a small village surrounded by fields and hills, there was a boy named Tommy. Tommy loved exploring the outdoors. One of his favorite things to do was to catch locusts in the fields near his home. Locusts are like big grasshoppers, and Tommy liked to watch them hop and fly. One sunny afternoon, Tommy went out with a jar to catch locusts. He was very good at catching them, and soon his jar was almost full. He was happy as he watched the locusts jump around inside. As he was looking for more locusts, he saw something that he thought was a big locust. It was sitting quietly on a leaf. Excited, Tommy reached out his hand to catch it, but this was not a locust. It was a scorpion. Scorpions can be dangerous because they have a sting that can hurt. Just as Tommy was about to grab the scorpion, it turned around and showed its sting. Tommy stopped right away and took a step back. He was surprised and a little scared. Then the scorpion did something unexpected. It spoke to Tommy. "If you had touched me, you would have been hurt," said the scorpion, "and you might have dropped your jar and lost all your locusts." Tommy was amazed. He had never heard a scorpion talk before. He replied, "Thank you for warning me. I thought you were a locust." The scorpion said, "It's important to look carefully and know what you are catching. Not everything is what it seems at first." Tommy nodded. He had learned an important lesson. He said goodbye to the scorpion and went home, being more careful now. When he got home, he told his parents about his adventure. His parents were glad that he was safe and praised him for being cautious. From that day on, Tommy continued to catch locusts, but he always remembered to look carefully before catching anything. He told his friends about the talking scorpion and the lesson he learned. Tommy's adventure in the field taught him to be more observant and respectful of all creatures, big or small. He understood that every creature in nature has its place and its role. And the scorpion, well, it went on living quietly in the field, happy to have helped a young boy learn a valuable lesson. Tommy and the scorpion's encounter became a popular story in the village, reminding everyone that caution and respect for nature are important. Number 8. Charlie the Chicken and the Shiny Stone. In a small farmyard, there lived a chicken named Charlie. Charlie was a hard-working chicken who spent his days looking for food to share with his friends, the other chickens in the yard. He loved finding seeds and grains, which were perfect for a chicken's meal. One bright and sunny morning, while Charlie was scratching the ground searching for food, something shiny caught his eye. It was a beautiful stone that sparkled in the sunlight. Charlie had never seen anything like it before. It was different from the usual seeds and grains he found. Curious, Charlie picked up the stone with his beak. He looked at it closely and saw that it was very pretty. But Charlie was a simple chicken who didn't know much about precious stones. To him it was just a shiny rock. Charlie thought to himself, if the farmer had found this stone, he would have been very happy. He might have put it in a special place. But to me this stone is not useful. I cannot eat it, and it is not food for my friends. Charlie decided that the shiny stone was not as valuable to him as finding food. He said out loud, I would rather find one piece of barleycorn than have all the jewels in the world. Barleycorn is food, and food is what we chickens need. With that, Charlie put down the shiny stone and went back to scratching the ground for food. He found some grains and seeds, and he was very happy. He shared the food with his friends, and they all enjoyed a good meal together. The other chickens didn't know about the shiny stone, but it didn't matter. What mattered was that they had food to eat, thanks to Charlie's hard work. The shiny stone lay on the ground, sparkling in the sun. Maybe someone else would find it and think it was precious. But for Charlie and his friends, the best treasure was the food that kept them full and happy. Charlie the chicken taught everyone on the farm an important lesson. What is valuable to one may not be valuable to another. For Charlie, the joy of finding food and sharing it with his friends was more precious than any jewel in the world. And so life on the farm went on, with Charlie and his friends enjoying their simple but happy days, scratching the ground and finding joy in the little things. They didn't need shiny stones to be happy. They had each other and the farmyard, which was their home. Number 9. Leo the Lion's Peaceful Kingdom. In a vast and green forest, there was a kingdom of animals ruled by a lion named Leo. Leo was not like other lion kings. He was kind and fair, and he did not use his power to scare the other animals. Leo wanted all the animals in his kingdom to live happily and safely. One sunny day, Leo decided to do something special. He called for a meeting of all the animals in the forest. From the tiny ants to the tall giraffes, Every animal was invited. Leo had a big plan. When all the animals gathered, Leo stood up and spoke in a loud, clear voice. "I want to make a new rule in our kingdom," he said. "From now on, all animals, big and small, strong and weak, will live together in peace. No one will hurt anyone else." The animals were surprised. The wolves looked at the lambs, the tigers looked at the deer, and the hounds looked at the rabbits. They had never thought of living in peace before. Then a small hare, who had always been afraid of the bigger animals, spoke up. "Oh, how I have waited for this day," he said. "A day when I, a small hare, can sit next to a strong tiger without fear." The other animals nodded. They all liked Leo's idea of living in peace. But the hare, even though he was happy, still felt a little scared. He had lived his whole life running away from danger. So after speaking, he quickly ran away just in case. Leo watched the hare run and smiled. He knew it would take time for all the animals to trust each other. But he was patient. He believed that one day the hare would not feel the need to run away. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months. The animals started to live together in peace, just like Leo wanted. The wolves played with the lambs, the tigers drank water near the deer, and the hounds talked with the rabbits. The forest became a place of friendship and happiness. The birds sang more sweetly, and the flowers bloomed brighter. Every animal, big or small, felt safe and happy. Leo the lion was proud of his kingdom. He had shown that even the most different animals could live together in peace. The hare, who once ran away in fear, now hopped around happily. He made friends with a big friendly dog. They would sit together under the trees and talk about their days. Leo's peaceful kingdom was a special place where every animal had a friend. The animals learned that being kind and living in peace was much better than being afraid of each other. And so the forest was full of joy and laughter, all thanks to Leo the lion, the king who wanted peace for all. Number 10. Walter the wolf and Kathy the crane. In a dense forest, there lived a wolf named Walter. One day, while eating his dinner, Walter accidentally got a bone stuck in his throat. It was very uncomfortable, and he couldn't get it out no matter how hard he tried. He coughed and coughed, but the bone was still there. Walter needed help. He thought of all the animals in the forest, but he was afraid that no one would come near him. After all, he was a wolf, and wolves can be scary. But then he remembered Kathy, a kind crane who lived by the river. Walter went to Kathy and said, "Kathy, please help me. I have a bone stuck in my throat. If you take it out, I will give you a big reward." Kathy was wary of putting her head into a wolf's mouth, but she saw that Walter was in real pain. So she agreed to help. She was very careful and gently put her long beak into Walter's mouth. After a little while, she managed to get the bone out. Walter felt much better and thanked Kathy. But when Kathy asked for her reward, Walter suddenly changed. He said with a sly grin, "Why do you need a reward? Isn't it enough that I didn't bite your head off while it was in my mouth?" Kathy was shocked and hurt. She had helped Walter, and now he was not keeping his promise. She realized that Walter was not only in pain before, but also unkind and selfish. Kathy didn't argue with Walter. She knew it was not safe to argue with a wolf, so she just flew away, feeling sad and disappointed. After that day, Kathy was more careful about whom she helped. She learned that not everyone is thankful, and sometimes helping someone can be risky. especially if they are not kind-hearted. As for Walter, he didn't have any more friends in the forest. The other animals heard about how he had treated Kathy, and they all stayed away from him. Walter was left alone, and he often remembered the day he had been unkind to Kathy. Kathy continued to live by the river, helping other animals who were kind and grateful. She became known as a wise and helpful crane, and all the animals in the forest respected her. Walter the wolf and Kathy the crane's story spread throughout the forest. It reminded all the animals that kindness should be returned with kindness, and not everyone who is in need of help deserves it if they are wicked at heart. And Kathy's wise decision to stay safe and avoid further trouble was praised by everyone in the forest.